Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're diving into a topic that's kind of everywhere you look these days. It's AI.
It really is everywhere.
And more specifically, we're going to be looking at how it can be a real game changer for businesses, for anyone really, who's working in a business setting. You sent us some really fascinating material on AI tools. And in particular, you've asked us about a platform called Aiville.
Yeah, and what's really cool about all of this is that we're not just talking theory here, right? Your sources are all about practical applications of AI, which I think is really what we need to cut through all the hype.
Right. It really is about separating the wow factor from the how-to aspect.
Exactly.
And one of the articles that you sent us makes a really good point about approaching AI with an open mind. And I thought, well, yeah, that seems simple enough.
Right.
But then I thought, what happens if we don't?
That's a really, really astute observation, actually, because if we approach AI with fear or skepticism, we might miss out on the potential, right? It's like refusing to learn a new skill because it seems daunting at first. We need an open mind when it comes to AI to allow us to see the possibilities and adapt our strategies accordingly.
Yeah, it's about embracing that learning curve rather than fearing it.
100%.
And speaking of making AI less intimidating, one of the things that really struck me about one of these articles was the way that it used character names for the AI assistants.
Oh, interesting.
So instead of saying, input your data into the financial algorithm, it was like Meat Blaze,
Yeah.
or Financial Whiz.
I chuckled when I saw that too. That's such a good way to make it feel more approachable, more relatable. It's almost like you're building a team of virtual specialists, right?
Yeah.
It kind of makes you think about how you structure these things. But this also highlights a really crucial point, right? Before we even dive into this world of AI characters or any specific tools for that matter, we really need to define our business needs. What are we actually trying to achieve?
Right. It's
No.
not about finding the shiniest new AI toy. It's figuring out which tools can actually address our specific pain points.
Yeah.
And I noticed one of the articles used the phrase, assess your business needs, which sounds incredibly obvious, I know. But it's amazing how many people, I think, skip that step. They get so caught up in the excitement without that clear vision.
Yeah, it's like going grocery shopping on an empty stomach. You end up with a cart full of impulsively chosen snacks, but nothing that you can actually make a meal out of.
Oh, that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
So how does this platform, Aiville, fit into all of this? You mentioned it earlier, and I'm curious to dive in.
Yeah, for sure. So your sources describe Aiville as the place for people who love AI, which of course immediately piqued my interest. And it seems to be designed as this hub, a community for AI enthusiasts and businesses that are looking to really leverage these tools. And it's within that framework that they've implemented this whole character-based approach.
Okay, so tell me more about these AI characters, because I know the material you sent mentioned a whole roster of them,
They do.
each with their own, area of expertise.
Exactly. Yeah, we're talking finance, marketing, writing, productivity, you name it. There's an AI character for it. And each one has this unique name and this kind of quirky description. It honestly makes the whole experience feel more like a video game than a software suite.
So instead of just saying, use AI for project management, it's more like, let's ask Porter, our productivity guru, to help us streamline our workflow.
Precisely, yeah. It's really tapping into that natural inclination we all have to personify, to relate to things that have personalities.
Right.
I mean, think about it. It's so much easier to ask a friend for help than some kind of faceless entity.
100%.
Right.
And that ease of interaction could be a game changer for businesses, especially those who are kind of new to the AI game.
Absolutely, yeah. It breaks down those initial barriers and encourages people to actually use the tools.
It's really fascinating how Aiville is using this character-driven approach to try to make AI more accessible.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of curious about the practical side of things. So how do these characters actually translate into real-world business solutions? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, that's where the rubber meets the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
And thankfully, your sources have some really good concrete examples. And one that stood out to me was the story of Deborah Clarke.
Yeah.
She's a small business owner, and she was just feeling super overwhelmed by her to-do list.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one. That felt very relatable, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've all been there, right? So Deborah turns to Porter, remember him, our productivity AI. And what I thought was really interesting is Porter doesn't just take orders. He actually analyzes her tasks, her priorities, even her work style, and then he creates this customized weekly schedule for her.
It's like having a personal assistant who not only manages your calendar, but also like understands how you work best, anticipates your needs.
Exactly. It really highlights how AI can go beyond just simple automation. It can actually act as this proactive partner, almost like a strategic coach.
Which, speaking of strategy, it makes me think about another takeaway from all this material you sent, the importance of having a really clear roadmap for AI integration. Because it's not enough to just, throw AI tools at a problem and hope for the best.
No, no, absolutely not. And one of the articles actually, I think they said they use a phased approach, and I thought that was really good. It really emphasized the need to start small, maybe with a pilot project in a specific department, and then gradually, scale up based on the results on what you learn from that small initial test.
Yeah, taking those calculated risks, gathering data, and making sure that your AI initiatives are actually like truly aligned with your overall business goals. It's like you test the waters, right, before you dive headfirst into the deep end.
I love that analogy. Perfect.
Mm.
And it also makes me think about, kind of hand in hand with that, another really important thing that came up in your research was this need for continuous learning and adaptation. So we're not just talking about implementing AI as a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process, right? You have to keep learning, keep refining, keep evolving as the technology itself evolves.
So it's not just about training your team on how to use today's AI tools, but it's about really fostering that culture of continuous learning and innovation, which is really interesting to think about.
Yeah. Encourage your team to experiment, to celebrate those successes, but then also don't be afraid to learn from the bumps in the road, right? Because that's how we're going to truly integrate AI into the DNA of a company. It shouldn't be treated as a separate thing.
hmm And I think this is where that community aspect of Aiville, with its built-in courses and resources, could be really, really valuable
Yeah.
because it provides that ongoing support system, almost like having a dedicated AI mentor on call whenever you need them.
I was going to mention that. That's a really good point. And I think it underscores how crucial it is to think about successful AI integration as not just about the technology. It's about having the right mindset, the right tools in place, but then also the right support system.
It's about creating an environment where, like, humans and AI can actually thrive together
Yes.
and can work together effectively. And speaking of working together effectively, one thing that really resonated with me was this whole idea of measuring and optimizing AI efforts. It's not enough to just set these systems in motion and hope for the best.
No, no, absolutely not. We have to establish very clear metrics for success right from the get-go. So we need to be asking ourselves, what are our key performance indicators, our KPIs? How are we actually going to be tracking progress? And how are we going to use the data that we get to refine our approach, to make sure that our AI initiatives are actually delivering tangible, measurable results?
You're essentially talking about creating this feedback loop where data is used to inform our decision-making and help us continually improve those strategies.
Exactly. And what I think is so cool about this is that AI itself can play a role in this process.
So we're not just using AI to, like, analyze data. We're using AI to analyze how well we're using AI.
It does sound a little crazy when you put it like that.
Right.
But it's that feedback loop that's going to allow it to become this learning, evolving partner in our businesses.
It's like having like a built-in optimization engine that's constantly fine-tuning itself to help us achieve our goals more effectively.
Exactly.
Yeah. This deep dive has been incredible. We've gone from kind of like demystifying AI to exploring its very practical applications and even kind of pondering its future a little bit.
Been pretty wild.
Yeah. But most importantly, I think we've grounded these concepts in real-world examples and advice that people can actually use.
Yeah. And what I find really encouraging about all of this is just the tip of the iceberg. AI is going to continue to evolve. It's going to keep evolving. And the possibilities for innovation and growth are honestly kind of limitless.
It's true. We started this whole deep dive talking about approaching AI with an open mind, and I think that's more important now than ever, because if we can embrace the possibilities and approach it, with that balance of excitement, but also strategic thinking, who knows what incredible things we can achieve.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's not about replacing us, right? It's not about AI taking over. It's about viewing AI as this powerful tool that can help us enhance our creativity, amplify what we're already capable of, and really help us kind of push the boundaries of what we thought was possible.
Well said. It's been such a pleasure exploring the world of AI and business with you. It really has.
Likewise.
And to our listener, thank you so much for sending in this material. It was so thought-provoking. We really appreciate it. We hope this deep dive has equipped you with some new insights, maybe some inspiration to navigate this really exciting world of AI and to really shape the future of your work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And for anyone else out there who wants to keep this conversation going, you know where to find us. We're on all the socials. Let's keep the AI conversation going.
Definitely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep innovating, and keep diving deep.